If Father was not pleased with Jimmy's continued rebellion, my sister-in-law Ruth was even more upset. Jimmy's marriage had shocked us all. All the Otises belonged to the Whig Party, and Ruth was an aristocratic high Tory, born and bred.
Did you know your loyalty is being questioned?
Loyalty to whom?
To the crown.
That's ridiculous. I'm defending the Constitution.
Tonight, Secretary Oliver confided to me that the question of your loyalty has been raised in Parliament itself. He asked me to talk to you.
I've never given anyone reason to question my loyalty.
James, I've become an object of pity. You should hear how people are beginning to talk.
What do you want from me?
I know we have different opinions about many things, dear, but at least in the past you've given no one reason to doubt your loyalty to the crown.
I am so loyal to the crown that I defend this Constitution. What else am I to do? Am I to watch the best document on earth whittle at until it's no more than the thorn of tyranny?
No one understands that this is what you're doing. Some think the worst, dear, the very worst.
At Ruth's insistence, Jimmy finally made an appointment to see Governor Bernard.
Governor?
What is it you want?
I'm here to pronounce and clarify my loyalty to the crown.
Then what is all this constant nitpicking and finding fault with this administration's running of things?
If I ever seem critical, sir, it's only because I love the Constitution so much, I abhor anything that violates it.
I trust you've seen these resolves out of Virginia that Samuel Adams has insisted on publishing?
I must seen them.
And how do they mix with your love of the Constitution?
I must confess that I find a few portions of them close to treason.
Really? I'm surprised to hear you say that.
One does not respond to an unconstitutional act by advocating other unconstitutional acts. The proper course is for the Stamp Act to be repealed.
But if it isn't?
Well, it must be. It's unconstitutional.
But at this hour, Otis, it is the law. Am I correct?
Yes.
Good. If you would be willing to publicly clarify your views, just as you've clarified them now, I think you would go far in proving your loyalty.
Are you asking me to publish something on the matter?
A clarification, yes. A vindication, perhaps, to remove the suspicion of those who do not realize that you advocate compliance with the law.
Yes, I will write such a vindication.
Good. And I want to reinstate you as the King's advocate. You're a brilliant lawyer.
I would have to think about it.
Does a man who is loyal to the crown refuse honor by the crown?
I am not disloyal.
Then you accept.
Yes.
The crown will be pleased to be represented by the best lawyer in Boston.
People were shocked by the publication of Jimmy's vindication. He became an object of sudden ridicule.
Turnabout Jeremy! Turnabout Jeremy! Turnabout Jeremy!
Overlap all over Boston. The likenesses of Oliver the Stamp Master were being hung in effigy. Jimmy was outraged.
Samuel Adams, did you do this?
Unfortunately, no. I can only congratulate his author on an excellent likeness.
Cut it down.
Why have you suddenly forgotten the Constitution you love so well?
I've not forgotten it.
You're going to argue for the crown again.
It's the Crown's Constitution. Get Hutchison. Get Hutchison.
Get Hutchison! Get Hutchison!
Finally, Oliver, facing a mob and fearing for his life, resigned as stamp master. The crowd then gathered outside of Hutchison's home to celebrate. But as will happen with the mob, things soon got out of hand.
The hellish crew fell upon my house with a rage of devils. They gutted everything, destroyed my furniture and emptied my wine cellar, robbed my strong box, broke my windows, destroyed my drapes, vandalized my fine paintings. They would not quit until they had removed the slate from my roof.
Then they threw his manuscript of the history of Massachusetts into the streets and trampled upon it. A neighbor retrieved what he could. It's all Hutchison had left. They thought he had plotted the Stamp Act by himself.
As God is my witness, I have striven as much as any man to prevent it. I've never thought it fair or constitutional. But it is the law, and it's my duty to uphold the law.
No taxes.
No taxes. No taxes.
Oh, taxes.
And again, Father was upset with Jimmy. There was incredible tension in our family now.
James, see what your inflammatory rhetoric leads to?
Father, I did not lead this mob.
You're the one who started stirring up the people over this.
I only meant to defend the Constitution.
Inflammatory rhetoric leads to inflammatory acts.
No
taxes.
No taxes.
Boston was in mourning after the violence. Then news came that the Stamp Act was repealed. Of course, there was much celebrating in the streets, but this victory, such as it was brief. Once again, the Crown levied new taxes on the colonies, and this time sent a commissioner from London to collect them. And once again, my brother was leading the fight against them.
Be it resolved that for a period of 1 year, beginning this fall of 1767, we will not send for or import from Great Britain any kind of goods or merchandise except for a few items as listed. Only the repeal of the Townshend duties can in turn repeal this resolution. Sir, I'm John Adams. I remember you. I don't think you've gone far enough. How do you mean? Well, since we have no representation in Parliament should be our next step. It's the only way to resolve this. No, I think there's another way. You're the one who first convinced me of this. Taxation without representation is tyranny? Well, we should put the whole argument on the table. They have no jurisdiction over us, period. John, when you enter, which is never, I abhor politics. You'll learn that you have to compromise. We have to get all the colonies together on this. The southern colonies would never support a position that strong. But it seems to me they just keep replacing one task with another. Where does it end? With colonial representation in Parliament.
But of course, this didn't happen. What happened was an escalation of the conflict and the beginning of the history that you study in school. Today, no one knows about James Otis, but everyone knows that Samuel Adams and his Mohawks led a Boston Tea Party.
Protest against the taxes increase so much that England stationed troops in Boston to maintain law and order. What resulted was more tension than ever.
Then on the snowy night of March 5th, 1770, a growing crowd began taunting soldiers at the custom house. Finally, British troops fired into the crowd, killing 4 men.
Today, you call this the Boston Massacre. The soldiers were arrested and put to trial, and to the surprise of many, the lawyer defending them was John Adams.
I have the example of James Otis, who would insist that every man in the province has a right to a fair trial. Therefore, though there be no less popular task in Boston, I agree to defend the British soldiers in this trial of a so-called massacre.
When the soldiers were found innocent, Samuel Adams was outraged. More tension than ever filled the streets.
No justice! No justice!
No